Yes. All right, so moving on to our next one. Would you like to tell us what our next one is, Daniel? And then we'll go to you, Kayla.
Okay, so actually these next two are kind of connected, but we'll just go ahead with number.
Yeah,
Well, I want to say number three, but it's number 5.
Yeah, number 5 would
6?
lead into number 6.
Yeah.
So
It's the return of the Kokiri. So we got the Koroks in Breath of the Wild. Obviously, we got a lot of them, and originally they were toying with having the Kokiri instead. But I guess they decided that it doesn't really make as much sense to have the Kokiri rather than the Koroks, because where are they going to live? What are they going to do? Like, what purpose will they serve? Overall, I actually like the Koroks better, so I'm not too upset. People don't hate me.
Yeah.
They're like visually a more like distinct and different race, so I like the Korok. I don't know. I really like the idea of the Koroks, like these forest spirits that are kind of funky looking that could take on the shape of the Kokiri. In a way, actually, because the Koroks were the Kokiri, we still did get them, right? So yes,
in
but
the
I know
same
Jesse
way,
really
the Zora and the Rito.
not in the same way though, because somehow we got both.
Oh yeah.
I still haven't wrapped my brain around that one, but I know Jesse
Wind
you were
Waker
saying
has the Sage, Kokiri, along with the Koroks.
Yes,
So
that's true. The one, he's also a ghost.
you're a ghost.
Spoilers. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm levitating right now. I'm not standing up.
True story.
Floating here. You don't believe me that I'm just floating here? Here's my feet.
Wow, nice
Ooh,
sock.
Floating.
Super
Thank you.
nice
This is
socks.
Actually, some
Careful,
of my
you're
favorite
blinding
socks
everyone
here.
watching.
Now, the Kokiri not being in the game also comes at another price, which leads into our next one, which is there was also supposed to be a Kokiri champion.
Yes.
Now, this makes me wonder, would there have been a 5th champion? Like, would he have been included with the Rito, the Zora, the Goron, the Gerudo? So he would have been the 5th. Or would he have replaced one of the other?
Oh, I think at the time that they had the design, I think it was him instead of the Rito.
Yeah, because
I think
Rivali, Mr. Ravioli, is not.
Ravioli.
Yes.
We got him instead. No, I actually prefer that we got the Rito and then the Koroks separately because, again, it's like it's a visually distinct race that we see as opposed to another humanoid race. Because, and also the Rito are cool. It's cool to see them back. Like I mentioned before, I've been replaying Wind Waker after it's been a few years since I have. The last time I played through Wind Waker was when Wind Waker HD just came out, so
Oh wow.
it's kind of nice to sort of like go back and then like being with like seeing the Rito and everything. I'm like, oh yeah, these guys are cool, but very different in Breath of the Wild than how they are in Wind Waker. So I appreciate the design choice.
People in the chat say, do not dishonor Rivali.
I know, I'm like, a plumber to the past. Don't worry, I love Ravioli. I think he's great.
Rabbit.
How dare you, Daniel?
Daruk's still the best champion. That's all I have to say about that.
No, Mifa, champion, best champion.
Sidon is the best non-champion.
Yeah. So that would have been interesting, whether it would have been a 5th champion or just replaced one of the others. Yeah. So, Kayla, who do you think it would have replaced if it did replace?
I don't think it would have replaced anyone, just because I feel like everyone is kind of like a strong kind of composition. They would have added like an extra person, but at the same time, this is gonna sound really dumb, but I feel like the map is not big enough for 5.
I think the map is big enough for 5.
I don't like where would they put it?
Well, it would have replaced Korok Forest. It would have been Kokiri Forest.
Oh, duh.
I think that's the most logical thing.
Yeah. Or do you mean 5 divine beasts? Like where would they put 5 divine beasts? I think like straight north.
Straight north? Yeah.
Straight like right at the very north. Or there's the if they move the Zora champ, like the Valruta, that divine beast, down into like Hateno Bay, or there's the big one between Eventide Island and the coast. There's like this huge bay. I don't know. I don't remember if that's Hateno Bay or a different one.
Yeah. So
they move that there. Then there's room for the 5th divine beast to squeeze in there.
They messed up because they have the Gerudo divine beast moving around. They have the Rito divine beast moving around. They have the Goron divine beast moving around, but then the Zora divine beast is just stationary. They should have
circles.
They should have made it like the others to where it's moving around, but it's moving around the coast. So like in the same way when you get close to the Gerudo divine beast, you're possibly being struck by lightning. So they should have made it to where like it's
tsunami.
like it's constantly a super heavy downpour of rain wherever Valruta's going. But he's like moving along the coast. So in the same way when you're in the game, like you're up high on the Great Plateau, you can see the salamander lizard thing crawling around Death Mountain. You can see I don't think you can see the Gerudo divine beast moving around.
No, not from the plateau.
He's kind of blocked. But once you get closer, you can see him moving around. So you can see these like from off in the distance moving around. So it would have been cool if you seen like when you're looking out towards the coast, certain times you can see like this huge thing just like swimming from coast to coast. And that would have made it a bit more interesting. And then in the same way that the salamander thing, I forgot its name, but the Goron divine beast is moving around the mountain, but as you get closer...
Rudania.
Yeah. So as you're getting closer to it, it becomes stationary inside the mouth of the volcano. So they could have done something to where, as you fought Valruta, he, like, disappeared underneath the water and then reappeared in Zora's domain. So something like that could have happened. That would have made it a bit more interesting.
It just swims up the river or something. Yeah. Or they can even have the cutscene of him, of it walking too, because the place where it settles in is kind of far removed from where you actually find him in the Reservoir Lake. Like it goes up the mountain anyways.
Yeah, right?
Same with
the
same with the camel one with the purple feet.
Hard names to
Naboris.
Yeah, Naboris.
Too many names.
That one again. It moves pretty far.
Yeah. So I think that goes along with what you were saying, to where if they moved Valruta, instead of just moving it to another stationary place, if he just wandered around, or it wandered around the ocean, then you would have that area cleared up to put the Kokiri, or the 5th divine beast. Just my thought. Are we ready to move on to the next?
Yes.
All right, so we are back with number 7, because we went 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're at 7, which is actually number 7. So, Kayla, would you like to take this one?
Oh gosh, do you want me to read all of that?
Or summarize it.
I'm just kidding, yeah.
Well, you can say what it is, and then I'll read through the important parts quickly.
So, A Link to the Past style fake sword pedestals were replaced by Koroks, which I think would be super awesome.
Yes. So
you want the fake pedestals?
Yeah, so what this is in A Link to the Past, when you're in the Lost Woods, there were the fake Master Sword pedestals, and then eventually you find the real one. I don't know if they included that in A Link Between Worlds, but I know it was in the original.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's in A Link Between Worlds at all, but...
Yeah, but it was in A Link to the Past. The interview says, and I'll try to read this as quickly as possible, Koroks are hiding all over Hyrule in this game, and the Korok mask is a new item deeply related to these hidden creatures. Okay, so I want to start off by saying this information comes from Alnuma when they first revealed the Korok mask as DLC. So it was on their official Zelda.com website. It continues.
But also, you put it in our Google Doc in alt caps, so you have to yell it while you're
no.
yelling right
like,
now.
There are many suspicious locations.
I just copied and pasted it, so
this
it
is
was
just a
already
really
in
big
caps.
thing. Okay.
Yes. I had to give the importance of the Korok mask. Like, poor Gibbs, found 1,800 Koroks.
Yeah, the dude's nuts. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Did you find 1,800 Koroks, Kayla? Did you, Daniel? All right.
I'm gonna say I got to like maybe 600.
I got like 300.
Yeah, I got about 600 in my first. I'm still working on my second playthrough, but yeah, I stopped around 600 because it was just like too much.
Yeah, like it got to a point to where like I would need to be doing a side quest, and I would see a Korok puzzle, but I would just ignore it. So, like, I probably came across half of them, but I only have like 300.
You don't need that that
It's
many.
that golden
you probably
piece
need
of
less
poop.
than half of them to actually. Like, as far as I'm concerned, as long as I can fully upgrade my inventory, that's good enough. That's done. Completionist check.
Apparently Gibbs got all of them.
Yeah, that's who we
crazy.
were talking
Yeah.
about. Gibbs. Got
Oh,
1,800.
sorry, I was looking in the chat and I was a pain.
So yeah, you got them all twice.
That's crazy.
The information continues in all caps. There are many suspicious locations in the vast world of Hyrule, so during development we started saying things like, it would be fun to discover something if it were placed at a location like this, don't you think? Initially we placed some random rocks in spots like these, just as an experiment. I don't have the images up, so forgive me. But as development continued, also you can't go and find this anymore. The images they put up, unless someone saved them or something, because it was on, when you went to Zelda.com, they gave information on all of the DLC, but now it's updated to like sell you more stuff from Breath of the Wild. So these interviews, you have to go to like different websites and stuff, like Zelda Dungeon, Go Nintendo, to get them. But it continues. But as development continued, we concluded that simply placing rocks somewhere isn't intriguing or challenging enough to be rewarding. Even if you were to find them instead, we suggested hiding some small creatures there for the finding. So that's how these Koroks, who would normally only live in Korok Forest, ended up scattered across remote areas of Hyrule. Now, let's go back to the Korok mask. It isn't something that exists simply to give you the taste of Korok life when you were in the walk. If you walk by hidden Korok while wearing it, it will actually shake to clue you in about it, the mask will. So apparently I copied everything except the part where it mentions the stuff about the but I guess when it's like, there was another section where it mentioned it, and the picture that it was talking about was a picture where it was the pedestal. I'll get it, send it to Daniel, and then Daniel can share it on his phone.
Okay, I kept the pedestal. I've got it right there.
Yeah.
Behind me. I have a little.
Sorry, can you zoom that in for us?
No, but I'll go get it if you want.
No, I was kidding.
Pedestal.
I can kind of see it.
I've got a little master sword there.
Oh.
I got that for Christmas. I was like, this is the best letter opener that I will never use, but I will forever keep.
Who even uses letter openers?
Who even uses letters?
All right. So Daniel,
Yes.
in the Skype chat, I just sent you the image, and then you can scroll down a couple of times, and it shows Link standing beside one of these pedestals. And they replaced all of these pedestals with these. Whenever it says, initially we placed some random rocks in spots like this, the image that it shows is Link standing next to one of the pedestal rocks. And I think in a different interview he was talking about you would put the sword into it and it would disappear. Similar to when you find a Korok, it gets added to your list. This way, you put the Master Sword in it, the pedestal disappears, and it somehow adds up, similar to the way that the Koroks do. So
I feel like this is a very dangerous thing, because when I first started picking up rocks and finding Koroks, I would always like tap the button too fast and I would pick up the rock and drop it on the Korok. So I'd probably stab a Korok, not gonna lie.
That's my favorite part, though, is if you just drop it on them. Jesse, you sent it to me on Skype,
yes,
which is open on the computer.
okay, it is also in the chat for the YouTube chat.
Oh yeah, there you go. The peeps can see it now. It's funny because that's the exact the pedestal from Skyward Sword, not the.
So you
not
are
the
able to
pedestal
look at it. So,
Yeah. But it's not the
Here.
pedestal from Breath of the Wild, which is interesting.
I'll bring this
You know.
over. So this is covering up way too much of the screen. People watching the edited video are probably complaining right now. But if you look where Daniel's face should be, you can see Link standing next to the pedestal. So,
Yeah, I find that that's they must have ripped that model straight out of Skyward Sword.
and I imagine this is also tied in
Yeah.
with
Mm-hmm.
whenever they replaced the pedestals with the Koroks, that also probably came along with replacing the Kikiri with the Koroks. So
Also
these two
notice-
changes were probably hand in hand.
That shield, that's the design for the soldier's shield, but it's the colors of the traveler's shield.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. I'm the next Beta 64, guys. Subscribe to my channel. And...
Yes.
No, I'm kidding. Actually, Beta 64 is a really great YouTube channel. You should go watch it. But anyways. No, really, it is. It's a really good channel.
Daniel, you're killing me over here.
No, it really is a good channel.
All right.
While you're at it, put a link in the doobly-doo below.
So
He talks all about cut content and stuff, so I'm
Yes.
all over that. So,
similar to the inspiration for the stuff that we do on our channel, like Yuri of Wynn's Gaming Mysteries, where he talks about beta stuff. And then there's like Beta 64, I don't know, there's like a bunch of really cool stuff that you can check out from Canceled Stuff.
yeah. Or Unseen 64 is a good
Yes.
website for that stuff.
So, Kayla, would you like to take number 8, which is 2 paragraphs instead of the 4 massive paragraphs?
Wow,
It's not in
Win
all
is
caps,
the
so you can
laziest
say it.
person.
Yes.
You can say it normally because it's not in all caps.
Are you sure? Maybe I should yell it.
You should yell it.
Actually, this kind of
Obtaining-
goes with what we did earlier with the Kikiri, or the hook shot. This kind of like goes along with it.
Sure, I guess we did kind of mention this part already.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's do it again.
Yeah.
All right.
We can cover
so,
it really fast and move on to the next one.
Yeah, okay. So, obtaining items and weapons in dungeons. So, during their original experiments, they were playing around with allowing Breath of the Wild players to obtain objects inside of the dungeons, like you could in previous games, which I think, like, we did touch base on that. Like, that would be a really cool thing.
Yeah.
But definitely, we would have to think of, like, other items to use, because I found, I don't know.
I would have liked it if, like, similar to the champion weapons that you get. So like you get the
Right.
like the
Yeah.
specific bow and arrow and stuff. If
Yeah.
you were
I think
in the
instead of them
dungeon-
just giving it to you, if you found it in the dungeon or dungeon,
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
it's so much better.
because it
and
was sorry, what were you going to say, Daniel?
There's one thing that I would really have liked for those champion weapons as well, and that would be for them to be maybe the only indestructible items in the game being the Master Sword, Hylian Shield, and the champion weapons.
Yeah. And they could break.
Which would make the
would
most
just-
sense because, like, once they break, I'm not gonna go back and go get it. Like,
Yeah.
No.
How much time do you think
Right?
I got? in
So
my
I
life?
never even use them because I don't want to break them. So I just put them in my house in Hateno Village.
So,
Just
here's-
put them on the wall.
Here's
I
the
don't wanna
thought that
break
I
this.
have. They could break, but do it in a way similar to the Master Sword, to where you
Okay,
just can't
yep.
use them. And it would make sense if you could have found them inside the Divine Beasts, because those would have potentially been the exact weapon that the champions were using when they died. And that's why they're left inside the Divine Beasts, and why you find them there.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
because it doesn't make
because
any sense to come out and just like grab them and like, hey, like here's
Did
this
someone
thing.
go in there and just get them and then leave?
Like, congratulations, we've already looted this place for you.
Yeah. All right. So, moving on to number 9. Daniel, would you like to take this?
Yes. Okay.
Number 10's a big one, guys. Get excited. Get hyped.
I'm
As-
hyped for number 10.
As Giovanni
But-
says, get hyped.
Number 9, touch controls and map. So, having to bring Breath of the Wild to Switch wasn't a huge surprise. We knew about the hardware. We thought it was probably going to come on, and here it is. But it was a big undertaking, and it meant that Nintendo had to scrap all the ideas they had for the Wii U's gamepad controller, like separate map and different control scheme. When it was originally just for the Wii U, we had touch controls set Fujibayashi.
Yes.
But we had to remove them. Although it was not very flashy or exciting work, it was still time-consuming and difficult. In Breath of the Wild, one of Link's main tools is the Sheikah Slate, a device that resembles the Wii U gamepad and allows Link to interact with the world. Originally, the Sheikah Slate was going to be far more connected to the Wii U gamepad, to the point where Fujibayashi and the other developers had to overhaul parts of the story when they decided to bring Breath of the Wild to the Switch as well. We felt that the way the Sheikah Slate is represented in the game and how we use the gamepad in real life synced really well, said Fujibayashi. Nailed it. So when we had to remove it, I did feel like, oh, it's too bad we had to do that. And because it was so tied into the scenario, we did have to go back and redesign and rethink the scenario, which was a little bit of work. Fishing. Anyway, so yeah, I
I messed it up there. Sorry.
You did.
Ooh.
So I get it. Like you can kind of see that they were testing out these ideas with Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, like how the gamepad would interact with the game, using that for your item management.
It was one of the first things they showed off at the Zelda Wii U Tech demo as well.
Yeah. I actually like how they handled switching items, like switching swords and shields in Breath of the Wild, where you just hold the button and you scroll through it. I like that better than using the touchscreen, to be honest. Like on 3DS, I really like dual screen experience, but on the Wii U, I actually just generally preferred to have the one screen, even though the gamepad is there.
Did you use the Pro Controller or the gamepad?
I often would still use the gamepad for Zelda because of the gyroscopic aiming. I really like gyroscopic aiming.
I like the map being on the touchpad.
I just would rather pause. I don't know what it is. Like, it's maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I find having to actually like physically take my eyes off the screen and look down, it pulls me out of the experience. Like, it pulls me out of the game.
That was the excuse Nintendo gave.
Yeah. Oh, well, they read my mind.
Whenever when you went to E3, when they first had Zelda Wii U playable on the Wii U, on the gamepad, it just had a black screen with text on it saying to like look at the TV or whatever. And what Nintendo told all of the representatives to tell the people on why there wasn't a map or anything on the Wii U, like we seen when Aonuma and Miyamoto showed off the little demo of Breath of the Wild, was that they wanted you to be focused solely on the gameplay, and having to look down at the gamepad took you out of the experience. So that's what Nintendo told everyone to tell customers. And
that's valid. Like, I find that, like, with 3DS, they're like right beside each other. It's still all in my hand, so it's not an immersion breaker for me. But with the Wii U, like, it's too much of a disconnect for me, and then I'm not going to be playing it with it held up either to mitigate that, like, because that's just uncomfortable. But there are some good things about touch controls still. Like, I still think that the Wii U gamepad was used really well in Pikmin 3 is probably the best example. I love me Pikmin. Because like, basically the characters, much like the Sheikah Slate, they had an item in the game that was like a tablet, and it was pretty much the Wii U gamepad. Like, it even pretty much looked exactly like it. And that was some of the best use of it, because you could pause and still use it, or you could use it while you're not. In Pikmin, it makes sense because you can just give a command, and then just like, while they're doing stuff, you can then manage your stuff with the gamepad. But I think that was the best use of the Wii U gamepad in like all of the Wii U's life, other than off TV play. When your kid wants to watch Netflix and you're like, okay, but I want to play Zelda. So yeah, I don't really miss it though. Like, playing Breath of the Wild on the Switch, I wasn't like, but I'm not gonna get those gamepad features. I still got my gyroscopic aiming, and switching items that way, like switching between your swords, is very intuitive, I find. So it's like pausing without having to really pause. So this is good. All right, I rambled too much. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I feel like the other way to look at the map thing though is like, if you're playing the game and then you look at the gamepad and it has the map on it, it's almost like you're like literally pulling out a map to figure out where you are. But I'm still on the same kind of path as you, Daniel. Like, I'd rather just play the game, not have to worry about messing around with it.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I find that, like, the map, I wouldn't use it like in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. I wouldn't really use it, like the gamepad for it. I would just pause. I don't know, just pause and bring it up.
I can't. Even though the Switch has the touchscreen, I can't think of any reason why you would need to have touchscreen features on the Switch unless it's like putting a mark on the map
keyboards
or something.
Yeah, but how they have it set up, like using the beacons, it works well enough. Yeah. Honestly, I think it's reversed of how the beacons worked in Skyward Sword, though. In Skyward Sword, you would open the map and put the beacon on the map. And then you would see it. Where in Breath of the Wild, you would have to put the beacon while looking directly at it, and then you would see it on the map. And so it's the reverse, but I think it works better that way.
Yeah. All right. I guess. Would you guys have loved the touchscreen and second screen features, or like simple yes or no?
No.
No.
I don't. Right. Sure, but I don't miss it. I don't know.
Yeah.
The bad thing is, as much as Breath of the Wild was delayed, I bet they spent months and months trying to perfect the second screen experience with the map and the touchscreen and everything, because Miyamoto and Aonuma made such a huge focus on that whenever they showed off Breath of the Wild. When Miyamoto was like, my game comes out next month, and then, or next year, and then Aonuma was like, well, my game comes out before that, and then the other guy was like, well, mine comes out before that. When they introduced like Star Fox Zero and everything, they put such a focus on the map, and then the map wasn't even like on the thing. So like the several months that they could have used to work on additional content that could have been included, like alien spaceships. All right, so our final piece of news, Kayla.
I know you're excited for this one.
Well,
Everyone get ready.
We saved the best for last. What is it?
Hashtag get hyped.
Yes.
Make sure you guys are sitting down for this one. Fishing.
All right. Are there any details on this?
Fishing.
I don't know if they're. I think you mentioned. No,
it just says fishing.
It just says fishing, but honestly, like Daniel and I were joking about it. Like, you run in, you grab that fish with your hand. Come on.
Jump in the water with your Zora armor.
Like, who needs to actually use a fishing rod?
You can shoot them too with the arrow or.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, we
you
have
said that
like
so seriously. You're like, you can shoot them too. You can shoot the fish.
You can shoot the fish. You can hit the fish with a sword.
You can blow them up with bombs.
But they stay in one piece. They just kind of die.
Can you electrocute them?
Yes, I did it once by accident. Because I was fighting... Okay, so there's the one tower. What's it called? It's not the Hebrew Tower. It's the one south of that.
Nope.
Anyways, it's surrounded by water. There's a bunch of electric Lizalfos.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
And... You're wrong, Jesse.
It's Twilight Princess.
Anyways, it's the one closest to Rito Village, I think, near the Thundra Plateau. Anyways, there's those electric Wizrobes, and there's a bunch of electric Lizalfos there, and there's also some fish in the water that died when I was fighting those guys there because there's a lot of electricity going around. And yeah, you can electrocute the fish, and they will die, and then you can pick up their corpses and save them for a week later, and then cook them and eat them. Probably not food safe, but if you think about it, the way Link carries all that meat and stuff around, that's not food safe.
That's why I play like a normal person. I don't eat actual food. I eat apples the entire game. If I get damaged, I just eat like 20 apples.
You gotta cook your meals.
I never cooked my meals until... Who was it? I think it was Gibbs and Holly. I was streaming, and they were like, why don't you cook your food?
You cook your food.
And I was
makes it so... Everything's better if you cook it. I actually, and my wife thinks it's the funniest thing, I will just sit there for like 5 minutes and just like cook a ton of meals, and then I'll go off about my business.
No,
I'll just sit there and cook, and I get so excited when I cook something good. I'm like, yeah!
See, I wasn't even cooking to get like nourishment or health and stuff. I was cooking. Like, you can buy the, I think like the horny tail lizards or whatever they're called. And then, like, you can buy them.
Lizards?
Yeah, like there's an area where you can buy them from Beetle, and then for like a low cost, but then you can cook them all together, and you get like when you resell it back to him, you get like twice as much as you put in. So you can just like buy all the stuff, cook it, sell it back to him, buy all the stuff, cook it, sell it back to him, and get rupees.
That's devious.
Yes.
Look at you scamming Beetle. Beetle's a good guy.
He is a good guy. All I do to make money. All I do in Breath of the Wild to make money is I break ore and I just sell the gems, and like I have like you end up with like 30,000 rupees, like very quickly. Even though all you're doing is just like selling the gemstones that you get from breaking rocks. So
nice.
Pro tip.
So fishing,
everybody. Fishing.
Yes.
Pro tip.
Is still in the game. It's called bomb fishing.
Yeah. No.
Well, dive in there and grab your fish.
Ocarina of Time had fishing. Someone in the chat says all hell Jesse. So that's something.
Well, watch with that foul speech.
Oh yeah. No, I caught myself earlier because instead of saying the one word, I said dang. So I forgot what we were talking about, but I said.
I'm sorry. We're talking about fishing.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday or the day before. Kayla was talking about her foul mouth when people watch the podcast, and they're like,
"Yeah, why are you?" My friends are like, "You're so polite and well mannered." Like, I'm not like this off of the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm very terrible and vulgar.
I think, when Miss Click and Holly are on, there are excessive bad and naughty words, which sometimes ends with the podcast not being able to be monetized, but it's not too bad. So
look at that.
Maybe we miss out on like $5 or $10, but it's fine. So yes, if anyone's curious, that's why. Plus, the contract with Nintendo that the YouTube channel has means that we stay PG or PG-13. So, but yes, fishing.
I think overall we're pretty PG.
Yeah.
Just we have some weird moments.
Yeah.
But yeah, fishing. I think as many different spots as there are, especially what's the one village? Like it's literally a fishing village.
Laurelin.
Yeah, Laurelin Village.
I really hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm pretty sure it's Laurelin Village.
Laurelian historian, myself, and so Laurelian historian wrote the script for a Zelda theory about Laurelin Village.
Oh yes.
And the Lonai, the ancient tribe in Breath of the Wild. I edited the video, and New McIntyre voiced the video.
That guy's got a good voice, by the way.
Yes,
I saw a lot of comments on
New McIntyre.
Yes.
So he.
Someone called him Discount McIntyre, and I was a little offended by that.
Retro calls him Discount McIntyre. So, I'm only vulgar in Spanish, Gus says. So, yeah, it was basically the Laureline Village is thought to be a certain descendant of the lost Zonai tribe. And the Zonai tribe's the one that builds all of the statues and stuff that you see in Faron Woods and all of the other places. Like the Thunder Plateau has all the giant sculptures of dragons and stuff. But anyways,
I meant to mention about that video actually, because I was watching it the other day. It's really good, by the way. If anybody in the chat has not seen that video, you should go watch it after this podcast.
Yes.
There's a
Laurelian historian who helps out with like Commonwealth Realms, Zeltic, all the other Zelda YouTube channels. So
he's just all around a great guy.
He is literally a historian for Zelda. His name matches. But what were you saying, Daniel?
A lot of the architecture, like that was described, there's the patterns and then the big dragon statues and stuff. I'm trying to remember which one it is, but it reminded me actually of two dungeons in Skyward Sword. that have very similar statues. One was the Earth Temple, and the other one is the other one that is also in the Elden region. I can't remember what it's called. What is it called, Jesse?
The one I always go to is Lenuru Mining Facility, but that's not it.
That's not it. The other one that's in the Elden...
The Fire Temple? Or the Earth Temple? It's the Fire Sanctuary?
There's the Fire Sanctuary, that's the one. So just like the general architecture and the statues and stuff that are in there, just that's what it reminded me of. That's all I was gonna say. There's
does my hair look silky smooth,
similar
Daniel?
statues. Hell yeah, it does.
Okay.
What?
Gibbs says my hair looks silky smooth.
Oh, clearly you guys haven't seen my hair. Goodness.
I'm looking right at it.
You're the only one with like style in your hair.
Style in my hair.
I put
You
too
should
much.
have seen me yesterday. Coming back from
stuff in my hair.
California, my hair was like,
What hair care products do you use? I use coconut smelly shampoo. It smells like coconuts.
I use Dove shampoo and then I put a butt ton of hair wax from Lush in it. So because
Ooh,
otherwise my hair it actually
Bronze
doesn't
Saber
It just
just
wants to go
donated
straight down.
$5 to the podcast and
Woo,
says, "Hey,
that's what we get for talking about our hair."
yes, thank
Tell,
you."
this is
subscribe and we'll give you more beauty tutorials on how Jesse does his hair.
That's what the podcast is now, guys. Sorry to all you Zelda fans out there. This...
Yes, thank you, Bronze Saber. If you have a question, because we're about to start the Zelda mailbag, if you have a question, go ahead and type it in the chat, and we will make it the priority. It goes for everyone else as well. If you have $1 or $2 to donate,
Does you want?
use
Would
super
you pay
chat.
for your question?
Yeah,
Would you pay for your question to be answered?
yeah.
Oh my
give
God.
give
We're
us
gonna find out right now.
give us
Gibbs'
like
best compliment. He said that I am like Admiral Holdo.
who's that?
I'm so touched. She is such a beautiful old
Wars?
lady. Yeah.
Wait, which one? Admiral Holdor?
That's
At
the
the
one
end
that
of
the
The Last
suicide
Jedi,
person?
she took over.
Yeah, she like
Yeah.
She dead.
yeah.
Spoilers.
It's like when they were coming up with
Oh
the
right.
they're coming up with the plot for the movie, where like
Oh, my
the
goodness. I
what
feel
is
like
it?
the writers were in conflict about whether we should, as an audience, like that character or not. You know.
I
did
liked her
like-
because. Sorry,
did
this
like-
is so off topic. Let's get back to our question bag.
Ashley says, "You have to answer because I'm a Patreon." Well, put your question in the chat, Ashley, and we will
Yeah.
get to
We
it.
have to answer.
But yes, fishing.
We're still talking about fishing.
Fishing. It should have been in Breath of the Wild because you can shield surf, but you can't fish. So, what's up with that?
Okay.
I think you're just
You
looking
know-
at fishing the wrong way.
I really feel like fishing is my least favorite part of any Zelda game that it's in.
You know, the most fishing I've ever done in any Zelda game was probably the mandatory fishing in Twilight Princess.
One at the beginning, but I only feel good about doing that.
Oh,
because
sorry.
And the
There's-
cat steals it.
There's 2 times.
There's 2. Yeah, there's the cat.
And then the
What's-
second time is when you're going into, what's that? The ice place, and you have to get the...
Yeah, the reek fish.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like that so much. I didn't mind feeding the cat because I like cats.
Cat.
Yeah, do it for the cat. Why aren't cats?
It's a question
bad?
every. Ashley, you need to put your question again in the chat because I don't know how far I would have to scroll up to get to the question. So put it in
Or
so
just-
we can see.
Quickly throw it in Discord
Yeah.
if you want to. I don't know.
What
Or
hair
just-
products?
what hair
DM it
products?
to me. Is that
Well,
the question?
she
Is
asks what hair
product?
products do we
Yeah,
use.
that's the question.
We will,
Didn't we just answer that?
Yeah, we just had an entire segment on that. That's how we
Yeah.
got the $5 for the Patreon.
That's-
So we still have 50 people watching us ramble. Alright,
Well,
so
I am so sorry.
reason, they're still here.
final-
I mean, thank you guys.
final thoughts on the top 10. Gibbs donated $5. Daniel, can I enforce your rules?
Of course.
Aw, thanks, Gibbs.
Yes, Gibbs, you can enforce my rules. What are my rules again? what are
For another
what are-
$5, you can make up your own rule.
You can.
Jesse!
What?
Yes.
What is
yes,
it?
Gibbs. What is it? What? Anyways, I'm okay with no fishing. That's okay. That's all right, guys. All right. That's my final
So
thoughts.
yes, the top 10 canceled Zelda Breath of the Wild nonsense, cut content. What did you guys think overall? Would you have liked the stuff that we discussed or no?
I mean, putting more stuff in the game is always a good fine by me. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's.
All right, and you, Miss Kayla.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, there's already so much going on, but I could never say no to more because that just means, there's so much more to see in Zelda and so much more time to play.
Right. All right. I guess a new intro for the Zelda mailbag, and since we stuck on the last one so long, we'll try to get through this one a little bit faster. For everyone in the chat, you can leave your questions, and we will get to the questions in the chat before we finish. We'll try to get to at least 2 or 3 that we'll answer really quickly from the chat. But I guess since people are in the mood to donate money to say hi and ask us about rules, if any donations come up in the super chat while we're doing the mailbag, we will immediately answer them. So, yeah.
Yes.
Support
we'll
the
treat them
podcast.
like the Patreon questions, basically.
Yes. All right. Are you guys ready for the mailbag?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm working with Axel on something for the Curiosity Shop. Yeah.
Yeah, for his Curiosity Shop. Or our.
He's moving the.
We stopped.
He's moving the Curiosity Shop, the official Curiosity Shop, the one he disappeared for like 5 years. Nobody, people thought he died because no one knew what happened to him. He came back, started doing it for the Zelda Dungeon. Zelda Dungeon, apparently, Mossy's, who we had on, wants to move the channel in a different direction. So I was talking to Axel about maybe doing something with the mailbag on this channel or his Curiosity Shop. So, anyways, immediately donate at least $1. They'll see it. Yes, all you have to do is donate like $1. That's like a Snickers bar.
Any amount. We're all just happy that you're willing to actually do that even.
Yes.
So.
Someone asked what the super chat was. The super chat is like just something that you can donate $1. Like if you look below the text, you'll see like the dollar sign. Just click that. Yeah. So anyways, you guys ready? Kayla?
All ready.
Yeah.
All right.
Do I not look ready?
I don't know.
No. Okay, well, I'll get back in my ready pose from last.
All right.
Okay.
Yes.